So as I was walking through Gorham the other day, it was almost time for solar noon prayer. And I glanced over into the park in downtown Gorham, and I noticed that it was full of children. And then I noticed all these little T-shirts that said Gorham Recreation Department. So I decided to cross over, and I went up and I asked who was in charge, and I spoke to the gentleman in charge and asked him if I could speak to the children about the water and what I was doing. And he said, yeah, we don't have very long because I have to have them back to, this isn't our normal camp, but we just came over here for the day. And so I want people to understand that, nothing happens accidentally. It wasn't just coincidence that day that I'm walking past that park, all those children were there for me to speak to them about the water and the river where they live. And there, I was really impressed. There was a couple of young people there that knew the condition of the river and knew how many dams were on that river, and so I was really, really impressed that they did know about their river and their aquifer, and that at that place the Montreal to Portland pipeline goes underground right along the edge of that river. And so they're talking about transferring that pipeline that already carries oil and reversing the flow and allowing it to carry tar sands oil. And we just can't allow that. We have to put our foot down, because when it leaks, and it's not a question of if it will leak, it will leak. There's not been one pipeline that hasn't leaked. We've already seen places already in Arkansas and other places where the tar sands people are saying, well, this isn't really oil. And so now then the government comes in and says, okay, well, no, they're not responsible to clean it up because it's not, quote, oil, because tar sands is different than regular oil. And so it's much more toxic. It creates much more pollution in the process of just getting it above ground and ready to transfer. And there's already so much water that's been damaged and really contaminated in Canada, and we can't allow that to come across the border. We can't say, well, it's Canada's problem, because it's going to come across the border and it's going to be our problem. It's going to be in your backyard. If you live here in Maine and in upper state New Hampshire, you better know what watershed you're in, because if you're in the Androscoggin River watershed, that's a 3,540 mile square watershed that's full, that this pipeline cuts right across the heart of. And so if it leaks into the watershed, it's going to come into your faucet. It just does. It's just going to spread. And so we really have to wake up. But I was really impressed at how much knowledge these kids had, and how they already know what they need to do, and to turn their faucets off when they brush their teeth. They already know all these things. And so I said to them, why do you think I'm talking to you today? And this one young man who already knew about the dams said, because we're going to be the presidents. And I said, that's right. You're going to be the presidents. You're going to be the senators. You're going to be the Republicans. Or you're going to be the people telling the senators and Republicans, no more. You can't do this. And so one way or another, you're going to be making an impact on what's going to happen with the water where you live. And so since nothing lives without water, and everything you eat walks, swims, flies, or grows, you already know that. And so if I can teach you that, then you can teach your parents and your teachers. And you can be the ones, because the reality is, when you guys say this to us, we go, wow, they're right. And we listen quicker when these kids come out with these truths than when an adult. It's so easy, because we have this tendency as human beings to think that, we know as much as everybody else. But when you hear these truths coming out of the mouths of babes, as they say, it really wakes you up. And so I was really excited and thrilled to have that opportunity to share with those kids in Gorham. And I want to thank Creator for making that happen, for putting them there on that day at that time so that we could cross paths and we could have a chance to connect. And so if you're out there and you're trying to make a difference in the world, pay attention to those little teeny moments where that opportunity is placed in front of you, and say thank you for that moment, because the more you recognize it and the more you say thank you, the more those moments happen, or the more you see, more readily you see those moments occurring in your life. And so I give gratitude for that, and thanks and gratitude. My relations.
Thank you, Carole.